Episode 4, Do the Humpty Hump.
Or falling in love.
Or, and they were real mates. Oh my god, they were real mates.
Or dirty jokes for flirty folks.
This is where the little song comes in. So you gotta dance. The little song happens.
Bam, bam, ba-dam, bam, 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 ba-dam, bam, ba-dam.
Welcome back to Between Pages and Friends, a book club podcast hosted by Con and Lauren, two besties who are reading this book for the very first time, and Jon and Kyle, their five-star husbands and the evil masterminds behind the season of this show. I'm Kyle.
I'm Jon.
I'm Con.
And I'm Lauren. Welcome to episode 5 of the Fae and Alchemy series by Callie Hart. Today we're talking about Quicksilver chapters 32 to 38. Just a reminder, this is a spoil-free zone for anything beyond these chapters. So if you're reading along with us, you're in good hands. And hey, if you've been loving the series, go ahead and send this episode to your favorite reading buddy or that one friend you've been not so subtly trying to recruit into this fandom. The more, the merrier.
Before we unleash today's nonsense, we're going to do something wild and be responsible. This is the part where we pause to let you know what you're in for. The book brings the heat, and so do we. So if you're not quite ready to talk about violent amputation, sore knees, a hot witch, now's a good time to scoot.
But if you are ready to talk about those things and you want even more ways to fangirl with us, our Patreon is where the party's at. For $5 a month, you can hop into our Book Bestie tier and gain access to our cozy Discord space, join our monthly book chats and live events, and connect with a whole community of fellow readers. Or go big with our $10 Found Family tier. You'll get all that plus early access to ad-free episodes, merch discounts, exclusive voting rights, and a backstage pass to our behind-the-scenes shenanigans.
And next month, we're officially going to Enchanticon! Come hang with us in person this August 15th to 17th in St. Louis, Missouri. We'll be there as event influencers, hosting spoiler-free chats to help new readers fall into the Throne of Glass universe. You can grab your chicken.
Grab your chickens and come on and join us.
Grab a bucket of chicken and meet us in St. Louis, Missouri. Oh, man. Grab your tickets at enchanticon.com and don't forget to use our code FRIENDS15 for 15% off.
And last but not least, your reviews on Apple Podcasts and Audible are the magic that keeps our podcast going. It helps more readers find our little corner of the internet, and they always make our day. Here is a recent 5-star review on Apple Podcasts from our new bestie, Loves and Legends, titled Book Club Podcast. My favorite podcast to listen to. I always look forward to Wednesdays and catching up with you all. From the theories and Emojirotica to the parenting and millennial jokes, it's always a good time and a laugh. My sister and I have a podcast club where we talk about your podcast after we have both listened because we both love you guys so much. It truly does feel like we're just chatting with good friends about amazing books and laughing along the way. Can't wait to read along with Quicksilver along with the girls for next season. Keep up spreading the joy and laughter. Red heart emoji. Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Heck yeah, that's amazing.
Loves and
Podcast
Legends.
It's
I
incredible.
love that. With your sister too. So fun.
Okay, it is time for our penultimate Con's Declassified Fantasy Pronunciation Guide for Quicksilver. This is the part of the show where we highlight all the new names and places mentioned in this chapter section. For this one, we've got Fulton's Gap, where there are rumored to be half-witches. Taladeus, Lord of Midnight, ? Rurik Dianthus, the last Evelian king. Yaz, Telena's husband. Oshelith, we find out, means most sacred in Old Fae. Ishabal is the granddaughter of the Balkidder clan's high witch, Melina. And then lastly, Simon is the name Carrion gave to his new sword. Onward to thine recap.
Onward! Thanks, Quan. Shocked! It's incredible. By the sight of Everlane on the other side of the Darn, they try to get her to make a break for it, but she cannot, for she is enthralled.
Enthralled?
Whatever
will they do?
How could it be?
That's right. Enthralled. Wait, what does enthralled mean? Shut up, not now, later. Taladeus, Malcolm's son, has brought her to show Fisher their trap, but Malcolm is counting on Fisher to retaliate either way, whether to save her or for vengeance. And from their little river convo, we find out that Fisher already has some kind of a deal going with Malcolm, and that they're assuming that Fisher will come to bargain for another one soon enough for Everlane. And also, that if he doesn't meet Malcolm in the allotted time, Everlane will have fully changed and will start to get passed around the Amontreath train, so to speak. Plus, Malcolm doesn't just want Fisher this time. He has his eye on the new alchemist as well. They gather back in the war tent to talk strategy, Lorith urging them into action, but Ren coming off a bit hopeless, and Fisher currently zoning out to his own thoughts. A great scene. We get a snippet here about Fisher's father having studied the blood curse for some time. They're hoping that there may be some texts on the subject. Saris asks about Malcolm and why he is so different, particularly his bite. We learn that Malcolm was the very first affected by the blood curse and refused the cure from the then King Rurik Dianthus. His venom is incredibly potent. Comparatively, when one of Malcolm's lords bites, they can feed a number of times before their victim eventually becomes enthralled. Well, Malcolm only needs to bite once for that to happen. But once enthralled, they are completely devoted to their master until they no longer have use of them. Then they die, but turn into a feeder that we know all so well. Fisher finally snaps out of it, about to address everyone, when Danya storms into the tent, demanding her sword. Uh-oh. Fisher tries to tell her the sword she once knew was unmade and reforged, that the new sword now belongs to Lorith. In her stupidity, she lunges for the sword, and when she closes her hand around it, it explodes. Her hand, that is, as she's also thrown across the tent. Fisher basically says he'll take her back to college to try and regrow it if she stops being a complete a-hole and chills the F out. She agrees. Before they leave, Fisher calls out Saris about her bravery and standing her ground at the Darn, a quote-unquote newly blooded warrior. They all get smug and smiley for some reason, and Fisher briefly explains that they celebrate their wins as they come and do not wait for something like this, as each of them draws a little blood, idiot. As each of them draws a little blood from their own weapon, approaching Saris, and press their hand against Saris's chest, each saying, "My blood and thanks, sister." Fisher last, finally calling Saris by her full name, which is, up to this point, kind of a big deal. They shadowgate into the dining room at Kalish, Saris taking up her usual spot. Danya comes in shortly after, getting all like huffy at where Saris is sitting, and then we finally learn what all the fuss has been about with the place at the table. When Saris defiantly states, like, what the hell the big deal is, Danya explains that this seat is reserved for the lady of the house. Based on etiquette, only Fisher's wife should be sitting there, a position of high honor meant for fey females born into one of the old houses. Yes. When Ren comes in and says that Saris is fine right where she is, love him. I put 3 of the smiley heart emojis, Then Ren goes and says the B word, talking about her and Fisher belong together, which kind of throws Saris for a loop here. Fisher comes through, then Lorith with Carrion in tow. Danya finally passes out from her injury. Thank God. Need that chick to shut the hell up about everything. We fast forward to Saris and Carrion in the forge at Kalish, trying to bind more Quicksilver. Just a bit trickier since each batch of Quicksilver wants something different, and Saris just, like at this point, just kind of has to figure it out. They get to talking about Fisher, and Carrion puts it together why Fisher wanted him to take a bath. Carrion calls her out about staying quiet about it when she replies that Fisher has his secrets, and the Quicksilver awakens at that. This batch wanting a secret, which Saris provides, telling it that she doesn't want to go back to Zilvarin anymore. She wants to go get Elroy and Hayden and bring them back to Evelia. Satisfied, the Quicksilver melds into the ring she's binding. But before it goes silent, it talks about Kingfisher and how she must save him. She tries to get some answers out of it, eventually tries putting on the ring in like a Lord of the Rings moment here. The place goes dark, and she starts hearing the Anarath Moor chant or whatever again. Telena shows up, kind of snaps her out of it. She takes off the ring. She's come to the forge to just kind of check on Saris. She was in a fight, making sure she doesn't need to be healed or mended or anything. And of course, in pure Carrion fashion, he flirts with Telena, this clearly not being the only time as well. When Saris notices the tattoos on Telena's hands, runes, markings, etc., Saris asks about them, and we get some tattoo knowledge. Typically, Fae mark their skin in this way on their 5th wedding anniversary. They design them themselves and then get it tattooed. Saris needs some clarification, though, asking whether they don't just, show up overnight, to which Taylena responds, no, don't be silly, except when a true mating bond exists, like back in the day, that when the gods left Avelia also, some magic left with them and waned over time, which is why they don't see this stuff anymore. Slight panic. Taylena mentions someone she knew once who got 7 tattoos, and some considered that greedy. More panic, since obviously the tattoos that she had show up all over her arms, way more, considerably more. Saris then asks about tattoos having script writing in them. Taylena basically says that it's something only from storybooks called God bindings, a blessing from the gods themselves, but that have tragic stories here, one of them always dying or the whole thing just ending in heartbreak. Oof. Clearly caught off guard, Saris leaves to find Fisher. She finds him, tells him what she just learned, then demands to know why he wouldn't say her name before. Let me explain. No, there's no time. Let me sum up. His mother was an oracle, and he knew Saris was coming into his life. His mother even drew her almost to perfection, and as Fae. He didn't tell her everything about the Osheleth. Osha means most sacred, and that's what she has always meant to him. More info on the tattoos. He's never seen so many. They usually come with a cost, blah, blah, blah. His pendant won't help for much longer either. It was warded by witches, and he rejected their bond.
Ugh.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Ew.
I know.
Come on,
whoa,
man.
Whoa, don't worry, everyone. There's a waiting period. Either party can accept or reject, even though Fisher thinks he's saving her by rejecting it. He basically has it all planned out for them, though. He rejects the bond. She rejects the bond. She finishes whatever she needs to do here and goes back to Zavarin, which completely sends Saris off because he's just planned their fate for them, basically, even knowing that she was coming. Then he talks about basically offing himself with Ren's help, which sends her even more, which is totally fair. She gives him a really hard time about that and eventually leaves to get some rest before starting some research on how to save both him and Everlane. They're all in the library researching. We learn that they need a very powerful witch, since they're the only ones with blood magic powerful enough to break an enthrallment, plus be able to keep Everlane's body in stasis long enough for Taylena to heal through Malcolm's poison. Some of them stay to research while Fisher, Ren, and Danya visit some witches at Fulton's Gap, which initially goes poorly thanks to Danya. Shocker! But Fisher salvages things and shows up with a witch named Ishabal of the Balkidder clan who has agreed to help them. They plan on heading to Gilthry, and Saris and Carrion don't take no for an answer that they will also be joining the party. That night, Fisher and Saris talk about their future a little bit, and that right now they should focus on getting Everlane back safely, and then they can focus on Fisher's situation. They agree, and then Fisher surprises her with a little shadow gate back to the house in Ballard. Candles everywhere she looks as his shadows sweep out and creates an eternal darkness, except for each candle flame as if in the middle of a million stars. And Saris begs Fisher to make her forget as they have a not so quiet night to themselves with a burning question: will she be covered in wax or something else? In this week's segment of Emojirotica.
Yeah! Wow! That question never crossed my mind, but sure.
It's a lot of candles in there. All right.
Hazard.
And I read Thought Bubble. Red X, check mark. Wave, kissy face. Blood, eggplant. Cup, an infinity symbol, ball of yarn. 2 fingers. Parentheses, paper and airplane, in parentheses. I'll tell you what that is later, or ask me afterwards. That's a good one. Black circle, little cloud thing. Parentheses, hand, leg, and the little loop-de-loop symbol, end parentheses. Pill, wood, the little swirly eyes face, rose, tornado. Speech bubble, capital F, praying hands, the okay hands, tongue, eggplant, rock, question mark, green light, boxing glove, in parentheses, snow wave, end parentheses, ink pen, exasperated face, clock, boxing glove, dinner plate. And that's this week's Emojirotica.
Yay!
Whew! Anyone else need a shower? Maybe a burger, some juice, something? Goodness gracious. And now, Fisher has some new ink, wings on his neck that match the metallic rune on Ceres's hand. She asks how he got some new tattoos, and presumably this happened when he accepted the bond.
It's about daytime.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah! Giddy up, cowboy.
Oh my God. That was great. When his, quote, soul was wrapped around hers, end quote, but also when he was BALLS deep, Ceres is clearly taken back by this news, especially after their previous conversation about the bond, mostly because she's human and her lifespan is so short, but he don't care. He takes back all of her ink again. They still have the waiting period, so she's not under any pressure. Right. She wakes up to an empty house and a shadow gate, and she fears the worst. He left a note under her clothes, a few notes for the other party members, and a goodbye. He even left Nimmerel. She goes through the gate to find Carrion. They rush to the library, where she shows the note to everyone. She tries to think of a way to get to him, but with no gate, plus there's no Quicksilver pool at Gilthry, they simply just can't get to him. But Carrion gets another great idea. Fisher's shadow gates. They don't close immediately and stay open for a brief period of time, and they discover their way in. When he opens a gate for Everlane, they're going to use that brief window to go through to the other side, wherever Fisher is. Carrion demands to go with her when they finally make this happen, on account that she make him one of her fancy swords. So she gets to work, and is trying her best to give the Quicksilver what it wants, a joke, but she's falling flat. Carrion takes the reins and makes it chuckle, earning the meld and continuing to tell jokes for the Quicksilver as Ceres finishes forging the sword. Then it has Carrion name it, which he does. Simon. Simon, of all freaking names. He names it Simon, of the Garfunkel variety, I'm sure. They're back in the library, waiting for a shadow gate to emerge. We get some background here from Ishbal that the Balkidder clan was instrumental in finding a cure for the Fey curse. And in the middle of their conversation, a gate appears in the air above them as Everlane comes just toppling through onto the table. They have to hurry. Carrion goes first, Lorith and Ren helping push him up into the gate. Ceres grabs the swords and rushes over as they heave her up. Everlane shouting a warning, "Wait, the water!" as Ceres passes through, and in a disorienting shift of gravity, Ceres finds herself upside down and falling.
Rude.
Wow, what a
So
soft
rude of
spot.
you. Both of you
Excellent.
menaces.
Excellent. Thank you, John. Let's fall in, people. Chapter 32.
Nice.
Yes, chapter 32 is called Taladeus. My first note was just LOL at me and Lauren, thinking last week that Everlane was fine or that she was evil or something. And then the first paragraph of this chapter is like, it was so easy to see that she was terrified. And I was like, oops.
It was the War Games all over again.
Yeah. No, for me, I'm still skeptical. I don't know why. I think I just built it up in my head that she was going to be evil. I'm
That's why you're like, I don't know.
Until I'm proven 100% wrong. That's
fair.
where I'm at. I was just really confused at this description of her across the way. It's said this one time and then it is never mentioned again and no one comments on it or anything.
Yeah.
But this is Ceres's POV. She is noticing Everlane on the other side and says, "She looked so strange. Her pale skin was lit from within, giving off an ethereal glow. Her hair swirled around her as if she were underwater, and yet she wasn't wet. Her hair, her skin, her clothes all dry. The rain came down even harder then, but not a drop of it touched Everlane." So what does what? Is it just her weird on her way to being a vampire-ness?
I assume this was part of the enthrallment
That's
situation,
what I assumed too.
but I don't know.
We don't really get any explanation for it. I just assumed that there was maybe a period here when somebody is newly bitten where they look like this. Especially from Malcolm in particular. Maybe it's just somebody from Malcolm.
The only thing I could think of is it was perhaps just an illusion of her. But again, like you said, we don't really get a deeper explanation, at least in this section.
Well, then Fisher's jaw works. So cheers, everybody. Super
Early
early in this
piece.
section.
Wow.
Thanks, Fisher. I really needed that. So convenient of you.
What a man.
I know. Then we learn that this Taladeus guy is, it just said that he says something like, "My father," something, assuming that's Malcolm. And then is this like he's actually Malcolm's son, like his actual like by blood son, or is like do they just call his other lords like his sons and he's the father because he bit them? You know
Ew.
what I'm saying?
Gross.
Like, is it a weird
Yeah.
vampire thing, or is it actually his son? I don't know that will super affect things in the world. It was just a question that I had of being curious of things. And then, yeah, we learned that Everlane is, like, enthralled to Malcolm, so that's probably drama for the rest of this book. Obviously, they have her back, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Part of me's not convinced. I don't know. And then Saris asks, how the F did Everlane wind up in Malcolm's hands anyway? And, like, nobody answers the question. She just throws
Yeah,
it out
that's
there.
true.
And they all move on. So these are my 3 theories. Everlane was there willingly. That's my number 1. Number 2 is that she got captured, like, on her way to see Fisher and company and, like, got taken or something like that. Or number 3 is that Bellicon traded her for something or something like that.
Oh.
Because I also kind of feel like he did something tricky with Kingfisher. And I have some
Yeah.
like evidence on that later with maybe even Bellicon being involved in Kingfisher's time with Malcolm for the last 100 or whatever years. So
he
maybe
would.
he did it again with Everlane or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's my other theory.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah. I only met him once, but he's the worst.
He is the worst.
I mean, if Everlane's anything like you, Lord, it might be number 1. She probably heard vampire and was like, I'm in.
Went over willingly.
Say less. Let's go.
She's like already sprinting.
Oh, I
Can't believe you guys went here without me.
That's terrible.
I was enthralled before you bit me, baby.
I do have a kind of a question about this because at first this next part I thought was sort of a mating bond situation thing, but like part of it is still weird to me. So Fisher is screaming that Malcolm can't have Everlane here. And in Saris's POV, it says, the terror that rolled off of him hit me like a slap to the face. I felt it deep in my bones, which I was like, okay, mating bond, totally for sure. And ... I felt something else too, Taladeus. His attention shifted to me, though his dark eyes brimming over with merriment remained locked on Fisher. But I didn't fully understand this. I felt like it was weird that she could feel Fisher's terror, but then she
And
feels
Taladeus
Taladeus.
is- Yeah.
Yeah, like she can
His
feel his
attention
attention
shift.
shifting to her, but he's not looking at her. I just felt like that was weird. So I don't know if that has anything to do. It wouldn't make sense, I don't think, for Fisher to be like connected to Taladeus in some way if his bond or like bargain or whatever was happening was with Malcolm.
Maybe
if he was enthralled to
Taladeus
Malcolm.
has Quicksilver or something, and she felt the Quicksilver.
Oh, I don't know.
Because that'd be
That
my
would
only
be
other
weird.
guess.
Yeah. Or maybe he has freaky mind magic too. I have no idea.
All I know is that Taladeus is blonde, and so I was like, nah, he's
Ugh,
out.
Not it. Nope,
He's a vampire,
out.
but he's out. Blonde
So
trumps
blonde
vampire.
Trump's vampire. Okay, great. Good to know.
It's just a fantasy book rule. If they're blonde, they're not it.
Yeah.
Except for Renfist. I think he's blonde. But his accent trumps blonde. So,
Yeah. True.
You can dye hair, but you can't dye an accent.
exactly. Oh, that's very funny. Taladeus does officially say that Malcolm wants the alchemist. He says if he has to burn down all of Yuvalia to claim her, you know perfectly well that he'll do it. So Malcolm officially knows that she's there, and that's his like main goal, which I think is also a huge reason why Kingfisher later sneaks off on his own. At first, whenever he was gone at the end, I thought he specifically just left her because of this moment right here.
Oh.
Even later when she was like, no, I'm coming, whatever, I was like, no, he's not taking her because Malcolm is looking for her. Like, that was in my head the whole time. So I was surprised he left without everybody, but I was not surprised he left her.
I was still mad about it.
Oh, I'm still mad about it too. I was just not surprised she got left out.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, chapter 33 is called Blood and Thanks. And I know everything's like really intense at the beginning of this chapter because they just found out Everlane's enthralled and they're panicking and like freaking out. But I just kept chuckling at Lorith bumping into everything with a Visius scabbard because he wasn't used to carrying a sword. That
Yeah.
was so funny to me. Like we're like panicking, but in the middle of it, I just kept laughing because these funny little details are part of the reason that I love Callie's writing so much. It just like the way she sprinkles in like these little bits of personality and stuff it was perfect. 10 out of 10, no notes.
Yeah, my note here is when they're in the war tent and they're kind of trying to think of how to save Everlane. And Lorith says to Fisher, your father studied the blood curse for decades. I bet he made a note about this. How to cleanse a thrall's blood, how to burn away the enchantment between master and thrall before the conversion begins. And I didn't remember this little factoid the first time, so this was just very, very interesting. Just knowing, like, I'm curious how long he actually studied this for.
2 things about this, though. First of all, Finran is for sure coming back. We are not done with him.
Yeah, for sure.
He knows things.
He's still
He's
alive.
not dead. He's coming back. Can't wait for that. Secondly, though, I'm wondering if he was studying this because Fisher's mom knew, like, his whole life leading up to Ceres, which would have included this time with Malcolm. So I feel like she would have known that he was going to be enthralled by Malcolm, or by someone at least. And maybe that's why Fisher's dad was studying it. Or maybe Fisher's dad was also enthralled, and that was part of the reason that he got sent somewhere else or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Okay.
Those are my thoughts about that. Okay. Freaking Danya comes storming
Seriously.
into the room.
worst.
This chick.
She is the worst, screaming about the sword. And I wrote, oh, now is not the time, Danby. But then she loses her hand. And I was like, I was not expecting that. But I love that the Quicksilver was sick of her too. They were like, oh, this bitch. Get out of here.
It sounds like something like that would happen to
Anybody.
who touched a god
Yeah.
sword that wasn't theirs. Not
Yeah.
necessarily that the Quicksilver was like, I don't want you touching me. I think it
Yeah,
was
because
just,
even later when Ceres has to pick up Nimmerel, she like uses a T-shirt or something. So
Yeah.
her hand isn't on it.
Yeah, I was
I
fully
just thought it was
expecting like a burn. Like,
yeah, same.
like
No,
electric
me
shock.
too.
Yeah.
just exploded. I was like, oh, okay.
It's to like
whole hand.
mist
So
or
this
whatever
is serious.
it said.
Yeah, cloud of mist. And then Fisher was like, maybe she'll stop punching people in the face now. Just all of their reactions to it were so funny. But I loved Ceres going, I was well and truly over her attitude. She'd been a bitch ever since Kingfisher had shown up back at the camp. We had more important things to worry about than a petulant warrior who threw a temper tantrum every time she showed up in this effing tent. And I was like, go off, Ceres. I put a bunch of the snap emojis in my notes. I was so here for that.
It kind of makes me wonder if, like, would a good strategy just to be leave your sword in a field full of your enemies and they all try to pick it up and explode? Like took care of that.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe.
Kingfisher left Nimmerel so that Malcolm wouldn't get it. So
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know if that always works.
I mean, I guess if you can pick it up with a shirt, then I guess your enemy could just wrap a cloth around it and pick it up and probably still use it. But soon after all this, they're all celebrating Ceres, and Lorith places a bloody hand right in the middle of Ceres' chest, and Kingfisher huffs a bit, even though like he's part of the ceremony. He's still a little bit jealous about it. But I just wrote that is a weird blood thanking ceremony as is, and I am not a fan and would not be a fan if people did that to me. I just wrote, don't touch me there. That is my no-no square.
Oh my gosh. The center of your chest? That's
Yeah, your no-no square is, you've never seen the song. It's in the link.
You linked the song in the
I
notes?
linked the song in the notes, yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Thank you. I saw the underline, but I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was a link.
It is
Thank
a
you.
link.
Appreciate that.
Oh, that's funny.
Let's stop
Wow.
all right now and watch it.
Let's all listen together. To be fair, I had the same reaction as you when someone in high school sang it to me, and I was like, what are you talking about? I've heard that song before in my life, but apparently it's like a 20-year-old song.
I mean, I've heard of a no-no
I have
square.
heard it.
I just didn't imagine it being that big for you.
It's supposed to be
Or
from
that
the
north.
Like, it's supposed to be here all the
it's
way down
big.
to just below your waist. It's a big square. It's a strike zone, really, is what it is. Like, you're not...
Got it. Baseball. Yeah, sure.
Sure, yeah, totally.
A
Sports.
rare sports reference from me. That's a strike
From
zone.
any of us.
Or a no-strike zone is what it is.
You're talking about that thing from High School Musical 2, right? Where they dance on the baseball field? That I understand.
Are you
Singing and
referring to
dancing part.
baseball as a whole as that thing from High School Musical 2?
Yes.
Because it's
That's my
actually from
sports
Angels in
knowledge.
the Outfield. That's where it started.
No, I understand the musicals.
Ugh, moving on.
All right, chapter 34. This one's called A Secret. Okay, so my first note. We whisper the whole chapter.
ASMR section.
So in Ceres' POV, it says, but Fisher had said my name, finally, and it was ... weird. I was like, this is how I feel whenever Jon calls me Connor. Because
What does
he
he
never
call
says
you?
my name. We just never, I don't know. He just like never says my name. We say like honey or like,
Get over here, you slut.
Hey, woman!
just like him.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's why we're laughing so hard. It's dead on.
I honestly don't know. I think we don't even really have like pet names or nicknames or anything. We just like, other than like Honey, I guess.
So in
But
what
he
instance
just-
does
I
he
call
call
Kyle
him?
Dad with the girls around.
Ew.
Oh, I was like, whoa. Thank you for the
Okay.
clarification.
Okay. You know, I'm
Thanks
just
for-
saying, like, I don't say his name very
Yes.
often these days.
Yeah,
But-
like go ask Mama or whatever. Yeah.
So what brings out Connor then? Is that like a full name situation where he's like upset and he's like, Connor?
Nope.
I guess it's usually when you're talking to someone and I'm right there and you say
Gotcha.
Connor. I don't know that you ever really directly call me Connor, but if you
No,
ever do,
definitely
it's
not.
like it's so weird. I don't know why it's weird. It just is.
Yeah.
But I read that and I was like, same girl.
All right. That's funny. Well, they go through the shadow gate and they are in the dining room, and Sarah's is kind of reminiscing whatever just happened. And then Danya walks in and she's like, but F Danya. Danya was the worst. And I said, you can say that again.
Yeah.
Nobody wants you here, Patrice.
Nobody asked you, Patrice. She is Patrice. She
She's
really is.
Patrice. She really is. Yeah,
So like a mean version of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the kind that like bakes cookies.
Yeah.
Invites you to go shopping. Speaking of Patrice, this is when we learn that the seat Sarah sat in is reserved for the lady of the house. And I feel like we totally called that. So I was
100%.
celebrating that moment. 1000%. Yes.
Yes, and as I mentioned in my recap, but I'll recap it again. Recap the recap. She says it's a
recap's weird.
position of high honor meant for a fey female born into one of the old houses. So I kind of took this out to highlight that specific sentence because what made me pick this out was when they mentioned the old houses. So I was like, okay, was Finron a high fey noble or something like that? I think I had mentioned in the previous episode about like maybe the family was kind of high up in the aristocracy just because of how Belicon knew them or whatever. So like maybe Fisher comes from like a line of high fae royalty. It would explain why Belicon possibly sent him maybe on what he was thinking was a suicide mission to Silvarum to kind of get him out of the picture. And like in that case, he would have known that they had a lot of money as well. And that would explain why they had a lot of money if they were like kind of royalty. Only question for me is like going through this thought process is if a lot of this was known to Belicon, like how would he not have known about Fisher? Because they said that that Fisher was like a big surprise. So it's like, it would surprise me if Belicon truly didn't know about Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe because it was, because the first time we learned about this was from Everlane, and Everlane was telling Saris.
Right.
And we already know that she maybe kind of alluded that her mom died because of her from complications from childbirth, but we get from Fisher's point of view that something else probably happened.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe there's still some questions here about some of that story, but I definitely think Belicon knew more about them and kind of got Finron out of the picture.
This is giving that the Bible story with David and Bathsheba, and he tries to get rid of the
Yeah.
husband going on the front line so
Sends
he
him to
can
the
marry
front.
the hot wife.
That's right.
Uh-huh. It is giving that.
It is a little bit. Yeah,
But
for sure.
also, like, if he does know about Fisher or did this already to Dad, this is kind of with my theories of him trying to get rid of Fisher, like sending him to
Yeah.
Malcolm or making some sort of deal
Yeah.
to
Yep.
get rid of Kingfisher as well
Yeah.
in that time.
Yeah.
I wonder if, see, this is the tricky thing with like the Oracle situation with his mom, because I don't know how much she actually knew. I mean, if she knew that much about Saris in detail, then I don't know if she also would have protected Kingfisher from like from Belicon or other people knowing about him for the first 10 years of his life in order to protect him from something else, or just to make sure that Belicon didn't know. I don't know, because she, like, again, I don't know how much, if she knows something's going to happen, how much her decisions affect that. That's a whole rabbit hole. But like, maybe that was part of it. Maybe she kept him at Kalish and intentionally kept other like old houses or whatever from knowing that he existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so then Ren comes in on the scene, and it says, Ren assesses the scene, shot me a wink, and said, "Don't you worry, Saris, you're perfect right where you are." And I was like,
Yes.
You are the literal best. I love everything about Ren. And if something happens to him, I will riot. I just love him. Mm-hmm. He's so kind and supportive. He's the perfect best friend.
It's a good thing the seats aren't like the swords of like she sat in the wrong seat and it's like my butt turned into a fine peak mist. The chair rejected me.
It cut me just a little to bleed on it. And
everything in this world. Picked up the wrong fork and my hand exploded.
But it also goes back to like how the first time they had a meal in there, Kingfisher was being horrible to her, but still let her sit there and defended for her to sit there to Ren or to the Fire Sprite or to whoever. Like he was so accepting the bond, even though he was telling himself he wasn't accepting the bond. Like he was doing it the whole time.
Yeah. Totally. And let that be a lesson to everyone who's dating someone with a bunch of red flags. Just remind yourself that if there's one green one, you can ignore the rest. It's going to be fine.
Don't ruin this for us.
Go away.
Oh my gosh.
That's a red flag, Kyle. Of yours.
I've been very kind to him in this series. Thank you very much.
He got his new red flag diary in the mail today.
I did.
Oh, wow. Do you have it with you?
I don't think it's next to me. I think because I got a bunch of fun books in the mail that they're all out in the other room right now.
Oh.
It's empty right now, yet to be written in.
I have to save it for the next book, I guess.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to need a bigger diary.
Okay, well, following Lauren's fangirl moment over Renfist, I was just having another little fangirl moment over Carrion because he found a random plant and brought it with him. And I just feel like this plant, he's just cracking me up. I feel like it's going to end up being super important somehow because that's just sort of his MO. It just keeps happening to him. But I just love that he was like, it just looked lonely out there and I thought it deserved a good home after surviving. He just brought it to dinner with him. I just love him so much. Yeah. That whole interaction was hilarious.
I mean, he lives in a place in Zilvaran where there's probably not a lot of green stuff, like
that's true.
The suns and whatever. And then he goes somewhere where there's not a lot of that. So he found one thing to make him happy. I was so happy for him.
I love him.
And this is after Dania is shouting at everyone, and then she finally faints, and Lorith takes her out of the room. Carrion says, "That smoking hot blonde said I was pretty." And Sarah says, "God's alive, Carrion. Do not tell me you have a thing for Dania. She's effing awful." Carrion goes, I love a girl with a sharp tongue and a bad attitude. Kind of makes my dick hard. That's literally cracking up at this. Totally forgot. I have no recollection of something like that line being in my first read. I must have blown right over that.
No pun intended.
Yeah. And then next, in Ceres's point of view, she says, "I learned my lesson after giving that song to the Quicksilver in Avisiath, and it had ceased to exist, though. I was going to be smarter this time." And she asked the Quicksilver, "If I tell you a secret, will I still remember it afterward?" So she's learning how to negotiate a little bit. But in this moment, I said, "Hey, a female main character who learns after only one instance. Look at that."
Yay!
Crazy.
Yay. Good job, Sarah.
What a breath of fresh air.
Yes, I mean, that is nice. However, she asks it a couple of questions and then goes, "Then there was nothing to worry about, I suppose." And I was like, okay, so there's still definitely something to worry about. I'm so skeptical of this. So I was trying to figure out, I don't really know what it would mean because I can't think of any direct loopholes, I guess, that would come from this. But she really only clarified that she would remember it afterward. And I don't remember what the other question was, but I was wondering if maybe because she gave this secret to the Quicksilver, will she never be able to say it to anyone else? Or I don't know. I mean, she kind of says it to Kingfisher later, so I feel like that's not it. But I also feel like there definitely still has to be something going on with that.
She only said, "If I tell you, not if I give you a secret."
Yeah, so she just said the secret.
I guess
I don't think she gave it away.
Okay. All right.
It did say that it would not tell anyone else. It was I'll keep the secret if you tell me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it'll just be between you and me or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't trust it. I feel like something is still.
So you think that the other Quicksilver took all of Carrion's jokes?
That's what I was thinking too. It was he gave him all these jokes. I have a note on that later.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kept thinking about it while I was reading it. I was like, what could this possibly mean? Because she's like, well, I guess there's nothing to worry about. I just feel like that's a red flag. So
I feel like in the secrets, like in the defense of that moment, the secret does seem like a big deal to Saris, but is not
Yeah,
a big deal in the grand scheme of the world that she's currently living in.
yeah,
Like,
it could have just been a character development thing.
yeah. Because like everybody knows she wants to stay, even if for some reason she's telling herself she still wants to go back, even if it wasn't for the people back there. She has running water. She has food. Like there's so many things of just like general taking care of yourself that makes sense to stay here over going back, regardless of whatever the heck is happening there.
So you're
Yes,
saying
and
she's
she
like,
knows-
gonna give it the secret, and it's gonna be like, oh, honey, I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you. Everyone already knows that.
I kind of expected that the Quicksilver would be like, that's not a secret. Like, give me something else.
Try again.
And then she'd have to say, like, yeah, that she loves Kingfisher or something more. I don't know.
I would have thought that
I
it
totally
would have had to have
expected
been a secret from the person that it would have been like meant for, too, because it wouldn't make sense to me for her
Yeah.
to give it a secret. And then for it to go to someone else and just be like, I know something about Saris you don't know. And the person wielding it would be like, I don't care. Like, I don't need her secret.
But see,
But then she did put it on.
Yeah, she put it on.
Well, yeah, and I have a note about that, like, 2 notes from now where I'm talking about the blood that she gives it. Because, like,
Yeah.
Carrion gives his blood for the sword. Lorith gives his blood for his sword. So, like, she gave her blood to this ring. Does that change something? Does she need to go find the people who own these relics so it's their blood with the
Right.
Quicksilver? Like, I don't understand how that works, I guess.
I don't either.
necessarily.
Because
There's
did
a lot
she
of
take the
blood
ring
magic.
off?
She did.
She
did. Okay.
I wonder if it's different for like a ring or like a necklace or something comparatively to a sword, since a sword will be used as an offensive weapon. And like,
Yeah.
because if she's making
the
a
relics are
sword,
just to protect them or whatever, right?
like does every sword she make now, is it considered a god sword, or just an Alchemirian sword? So like is every what's the question? Is every Alchemirian sword a god sword?
I don't think so.
I would have to say no.
Is it just because the one for Lorith was forged from a previous god sword?
That could be.
Well, and it could
And
be
also they
also
yelled
just
like
because,
angel's breath or whatever the magic that came off of that.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
haven't seen Carrions have any sort of magic yet. Because she even asked it, like, are you going to do magic or whatever? And then she
Oh,
couldn't
that's
hear it
true.
anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, we
That's a
don't
good
even
point.
know.
It could be
it has
based
that.
on like maybe whatever the Quicksilver takes. Like the one for Lorith took a song and literally took the song. Pretty powerful reality shift there, versus the other ones who just like, just tell me a joke, or like basic stuff like that. Like, you give me something basic, I'll be a basic whatever. And then
I just had the thought of, like, what if when Carrion hits with the sword, it's like, boing, so,
Comic book
it's
sound.
just a joke sword.
it just like collapses in on itself. Whoa!
It's the kind that it like falls apart, and then you like
Yeah.
pull a string or something.
Yeah.
And it,
Comes
like,
back together.
That's amazing.
all right, interesting.
Okay, so my next actual note was when Saris does put the ring on because she's mad at the Quicksilver inside the ring for not answering her. And so in her POV, it's just this line that says, I wasn't even aware of what I was doing as I slipped the newly made relic onto my middle finger. The forge went dark. And at this point, I was listening to the audiobook and I had the ebook pulled up. And my 4-year-old came into the room and she was like, Mommy, what? Why'd you say uh-oh? I was like very audibly reacting to this whole section, which I don't normally do. But my kids happened to be home at that
Did you
point
give her
and
the
she was
breakdown?
so concerned.
Here, let me give you the story up to
Well.
this point.
And she looks at you and goes, uh-oh, as you start talking.
Yeah.
That's funny. But right before the ring goes silent, the ring says, like, something about saving him. And Sarah says, save him? Hayden? Yes, I want to bring him here. And the ring says, not the brother, the Kingfisher, the Quicksilver buzzed. Save him. Save the gates. Save Yvalia. So I had kind of been like, okay, so the Quicksilver is in his mind and it's connected and they're going to be okay somehow because we can't take it out. I guess that side quest is maybe over now, but like this is saying, no, we have to take it out somehow and save him. That side quest is not open, or like over, is wide open. And whatever it means about save the gates, the only gates that I know of are the Shadow Gate, because like the Quicksilver they call pools, unless that is also a gate.
I thought they also referred to those as the gate, as like opening the gate is activating the Quicksilver. That was how I interpreted it.
So they need saved, I guess, just to open them everywhere.
I don't know.
Okay. But that's our new question mark thesis statement. Save him, save the gates.
Save Amelia.
Yeah.
Got it.
Save the children, save the world.
Yes. And then this is just a side comment for every single time that Saris has had any serious conversation with the Quicksilver ever in this entire book. Like literally every single one. It's interrupted at moments with Carrion just being like, are you talking to it? That's the face you're going to make while you're talking. Like just all his little side comments and his comedy is top tier.
The best.
He's such a random character, I feel like, but the book would be so drastically different without him. He's so good.
That's very true. Okay, so this is where Taylena comes in, and Saris notices the tattoos on her hand and starts asking her about them. And my note here is just that I was absolutely squealing and freaking out, but I'm leaving this freak out to Lauren because I love when she freaks out about stuff like this.
Thank you. Oh my God. I just love that they're actually mates. They're mates. Yes. Mates.
Mates.
I know. Oh, there's so many times that I'm guessing it. And this one, it's like, it just gave it to me in book 1. Shout out you, Callie.
And they're like the matiest kind of mates.
Matiest mates
they really
I've ever heard of.
Yeah,
they
they
are
mate a lot.
true God's blessed mates. Aye, matey.
Ahoy. All aboard.
I also think it's really cute that other couples tattoo their hands and stuff as like a tradition too. This like older like mates style that used to exist. But I think it also just how Taylena was like, but some people do 7 and that's
Yeah.
a little extra. And then Saris is like, oh my God, how many did I have? Like that would be me. I'd be having a full on panic attack. Like what are people going to think? Just because of the number I have, let alone because it's there.
In that line of thinking too, I thought it was funny how they're like, we're encouraged to wait till 5 years, and like if you do it earlier, it's like that's fine, but hey, I don't know.
And Saris is like, so it doesn't like happen after one night. And all the dots in the book.
So good.
It was such a good
That was
scene.
like it was such a fun piece of world building, just in general, the whole concept of like the tattoos and stuff. But then to have it revealed in this way to her was just it was delicious. I was absolutely losing my mind.
And then again, on the whole side of it is Carrion trying to hit on Taylena.
Yeah.
Like while Saris is freaking out and doing something super important.
He's
here's
like, wow, way
Carrion.
to wreck my game. Okay.
Oh, it's so funny. But they're mates, and I'm so excited. They're mates. They're mates. When Saris asks if people get like the writing on them inked as well, because she got it like wrapped around her wrist, and Taylena was like, oh no, definitely not. You only see that kind of thing in storybooks. They called it a god binding, a blessing from the gods themselves. They weren't real, of course. The most important couples in Yuvalian history were to have had them, but it was all romantic rubbish, just something storytellers embellished to make their tales more tragic. Plus, they looked impressive in the illuminated books. And so for me, it sounds like it's supposed to set us up to think that either Kingfisher or Saris is going to die or something tragic is going to happen to them because how we get this or whatever. But she also says that it's what the romance, the like writers used to embellish to make their book seem more tragic. So I'm hoping that that's not actual truth. Like that's not actual history. That's just like the embellished stories. And she's going to open a book one day and be like, oh, so it's not actually that. That's just,
It's
fiction
happily
or whatever. Like no big deal.
No, see,
But also, I'm super excited that it's only one more week until I can look up fan art and see all of these impressive drawings that are in these illuminated books and see what the tattoos look like. Can't wait.
I did highlight the part where Sarah's questioned like tragic, and she's like, yeah, the lovers in these stories always suffered terribly, and one of them always died. They were beautiful tales, but they ended in heartbreak. And I just wrote, interesting.
Yeah. I'm hoping that's the embellished part.
Or maybe in order for Kingfisher to be saved, he has to die, and we get like a King's Cross situation where he has to die, but somehow his like bond with Cerys is the thing that saves him. He's also partially Horcruxed to, what's his name? Is it Renfis or Lorith? Lorith. Yeah. So I don't know if that would have something to do with it. Like maybe he will technically die at some point, but be brought back.
Or
he
dies, but it's because he turns into a vampire.
A vampire.
Too bad.
Oh no.
How tragic.
That's terrible.
Oh, man. I'm bummed.
And then he can turn Cerys into a vampire, and then they can live happily ever after, forever and ever.
Literally, forever. In a field somewhere.
Maybe.
That's how Twilight ends. So
In a field. I was really freaking out about this god binding part of this whole situation, though, because isn't the whole lore that like the gods are asleep? Isn't that what it is?
I thought it was that they had left.
Maybe
either
that's
way,
what
they're
it
not
was.
around.
Yeah, that they went
I don't
on
remember.
like a pilgrimage or something,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
They went on a
Somebody's
pilgrimage and never
watching.
came back from it because they had apparently gone on the pilgrimages before and come back, and this time they did
Right.
not come back.
Yes. Okay. See, I already need to reread this book. I need my own
Maybe
like God's
they'll-
Watch.
Maybe they're in Zilvarin, and so they knew about Cerys or something.
Maybe. I mean, if Fisher's mom knew about her that far in advance. But I don't know. I just feel like it's interesting that a god binding is showing up now because obviously the gods are clearly going to come into play at some point. So I have
Don't they always?
some thoughts on that later, I think. But I don't know. I just feel like I don't know enough about them to really know what this means. But I'm very excited about it.
Also have thoughts on it, but it will probably have to wait for like our after
Theories.
reading episode.
Oh,
We'll have to wait till after our at the thoughts
Welcome
and
to our
theories
pirate
episode.
adventure episode.
the one I've been waiting for months.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, that takes us to chapter 35 called Oracle. This is a huge shout out to Cerys for immediately going and finding Kingfisher and asking questions. Shout out to a
Yes.
female main character for asking
Go,
questions.
girl.
But also, this is a major shout out to Kingfisher. When we didn't think we could love him anymore, it says, he smiled when the little fox leapt into his lap and began licking his chin. Oh, he loves Onyx. And they're just going to be a happy little family. So cute.
And in this conversation, Cerys asks, "Tell me why you wouldn't say my name." Fisher responds, "You know why?" And she says, "No, Fisher," out loud. I wanted to find the meme of Twilight where she's like, "I know what you are." You just go on.
This is
say
even
it
better.
out loud.
This is better.
But instead, I found one where they superimposed old Greg onto her. So it's her as old Greg saying, "I know what you are." And he says, "Go on then, say it out loud." And she says, "A fuzzy little man peach."
Oh, this is so much better.
So much better.
I don't know why that was easier to find than the
God.
original, but it was.
That is insane.
She's green. She's got the hair.
Yeah, I'll have
Yeah,
to
it's
share
great.
it when this comes
Every time
out.
I try to explain who old Greg is, no one understands. So I appreciate that. I have
No,
you guys.
it's not really something to be explained. It's something to be experienced.
Experience for sure.
Yeah, if I make the reference and their face doesn't change, I'm just like, I'm gonna pull up a video real quick and you're
Yep.
Yeah. Or just move on.
yeah.
Judge me for the next 24 hours, but by 48, you'll be right there with me.
No matter what
You'll
you
be
do, don't
enthralled.
stop the video.
You'll be enthralled by
You'll
old
be
Greg.
enthralled. Yes.
Oh man. And then same conversation. She's talking to Fisher saying, "I'm not weak, Fisher. I'm not like those butterflies, pathetic, hatching and dying in the cold." And he interrupts and says, "Not you, me." And I just wrote, "Not me, not Hermione, you." And that's another link to just a TikTok that I'm reminded of every time someone says that.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah, enjoy that.
Get
on
these
your
links
own
in
time.
Discord. When this episode drops, someone in Discord remind us.
All right, my next note here is when shortly after this, when he says, "I've known for centuries that you are coming." So this line just pops out, and I wrote, "Oh, what? What does this mean?" Hold on, go back, reread. Which we find out later, like what he means by that. But yeah, as he's just like he just like drops this in their conversation, and it's just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But I appreciate that she asks. Like, yes, that
Yes.
she continues that line of thought with him, and then she goes back and asks, "Okay, so what do you mean?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean? So I just love her. But we do find out here in this moment as well that O'Shaleth means in Old Fae the most sacred, which is just so precious.
Ugh.
Which means that he's been calling her that from like the very beginning.
Yeah.
That she's most sacred. So he literally just been
love
lying
this.
to himself like the entire time
Yeah.
that they weren't going to be together because he's in love.
Yeah. He's so in love.
So
it's
in
the best.
He's incapable of lying, actually, so he wasn't lying to himself.
Got
He's
him.
capable of saying a lie. He could maybe believe it.
Good point. Good point. Okay, so speaking of Kingfisher, he says, we have true names that we don't share with anyone, not our friends, not our families. Our mothers are often the only people who actually know it, and even a mother might use her child's name to her own advantage in the pursuit of power. And I wrote, interesting, Kingfisher, if that even is your real name, which it clearly is not.
No, it is not. But that also means that probably none of the Fae that we're talking to, that's their real name.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, true. Maybe. Yeah.
I did think whenever Carrion weirdly finds Kingfisher's mom's book and was reading it, that maybe he would learn Kingfisher's real name or something. I don't know. I just feel like Carrion's always learning weird facts and tucking them away and then coming out with the answers at the most convenient moment.
Yeah, like later on, Carrion will be like, "So hey, Kingfisher, who's your brother, Dave? who's this guy Andrew that they were writing this whole book about?"
I'm kind of wondering that if she wrote in her journal or whatever his true name, would he even know that it's about him? Or if it's just like he has some journal of a lady talking about raising a baby who's gonna like do all this stuff, not mentioned at all in it.
I don't know. I mean, he would know it, right? Well, I guess it says our mothers are often the only people who actually know it.
Yeah, I would
So
hope
would
his
he-
mom
I mean, would
doesn't
he not
use
even
it
know?
in pursuit of power, but some evil moms maybe.
Or did she have something to do with Finran disappearing and her marrying Belicon? I wouldn't like that, but
If she's an oracle and she needed to see it for the future, maybe it's one of those like, it had to be this way. It's the only way. This
Yeah.
outcome, something
yeah.
One of those.
like a Doctor Strange moment.
One of them. Yeah. Well, Fisher sets his jaw here, so cheers,
fish.
everybody. Ooh, okay. So I know we've talked about this a little bit already, but I'm coming back to this quote where Kingfisher's explaining that he was told by his mother that Ceres was coming a long time ago. He says she was an oracle. I didn't believe her, but then when I was taken, and then he like can't speak anymore, and he says I have to be careful. I can't, and he like stops breathing.
Yeah.
So since this is so similar to what happens when he's trying to talk about Malcolm and like his time with him, is this like when he was taken by Malcolm, or if his mom's writing stopped when Sarah showed up, did it include any of him being taken by Malcolm?
Maybe it's that
So, like-
she wrote he would be taken, and then when it was, he was like, "Oh my God, it's true," you know.
Yeah. So I'm guessing this was saying like he didn't believe that was going to happen, but then it did, but he can't talk about that. Yeah. I just want to know. I want him to be able to talk about it. I need to know what happened. It's
I would
killing
hope we're gonna figure that out by the end of this book. I hope. Knock on wood.
me.
At least like where he was, or like confirm
Yeah.
yes, he was with Malcolm or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But this, I
I
still
think-
think Belicon was in on it with him getting
yeah.
taken or stolen away or something. And I don't know. I feel like he did something to Everlane too. I don't know why. I just feel like Belicon or Madra have to be behind something.
Yeah.
Like, but
And Malcolm's just in the middle.
how long have you been waiting for that one? How long have you been waiting for the perfect moment for that joke, Kai?
About 10 seconds. I was like, how can I work this into what she's saying?
Oh, that
Excellent
was good.
delivery.
That was great. Good job.
Classic Malcolm.
No, I think Malcolm definitely thinks he's in charge, and I think Belicon thinks he's in charge, and they think they're
Yeah.
both playing each other somehow.
I could see that.
Since Malcolm is obviously in charge of this evil, quote-unquote, side of whatever's happening in Yavalia, and Belicon is on the good, quote-unquote, side of whatever's happening. And it's like this battle between the two. So whether or not
Are there-
they have to communicate sometime, you would think.
Yeah. Or they've been like working together the whole time
Yeah. And Belicon's
and just putting on
just
the front.
pretending to be, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Which would maybe explain why Malcolm's always like, like sending out the feeders, but they never quite make it across. And he's like, oh, darn, you bested me again. Like, it's just sort of this weird little.
Yeah, and Bellicon's like, oh no, you better stay over there at the oh darn, so that just in case, and like keeping them distracted.
Yeah.
That would explain.
I don't know. Everybody's evil.
Yeah, 100%.
It's fine.
Except for Kingfisher, Saris, like these individuals in this little group. Maybe Danby's bad, but
yeah, she still sucks.
Hardcore.
Not really looking for a redemption there, but all right. So this is my next highlight. And Jon was around when I was reading this part. And I was just, the way that I was reacting, we were getting ready to put our kids to bed, but I had to like stop and sit down and read this part. Like when I was like, I can't do anything right now. Please hold on. So I highlighted this part where Kingfisher said, she, meaning his mom, she said, when I needed you most, you'd come blazing into my life like a meteorite, riding on a wave of chaos that would turn my whole world upside down, that you'd shine so brilliantly that you'd light up hell itself and guide me out of the darkness. She had no idea what your name would be, just that you'd have dark hair and a beautiful smile, and that I'd love you with a fierceness despite myself. I was eating this up. I could not stop giggling.
It's so good.
But it's so good. But the part that really made me freak out was when he said she drew you and she captured you almost perfectly too. She was wrong sometimes about little things. In all her drawings of you, your ears were like mine. You were Fae. And I was like, because she is Fae. I'm freaking out.
That's what I wrote. All caps. She has to be Fae. Or she's going to turn to a Fae or something. Something's going to happen. And she's going to have
She
pointy
has
ears.
to be. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. I love this so much.
Me too.
These are like the best reveals.
This was great. This was great to witness.
Me reading this part.
Yeah, it was great.
But then Kingfisher says, so I decided to be awful to you so you'd effing hate me and want nothing to do with me. And Saris is like, stellar plan. That really panned out. And it said, his crooked smile nearly broke my heart. Be honest. I think it kind of worked a little. And I was like, it kind of worked on me. I was here for it.
As she giggles.
I know. I'm blushing. Sure, stop.
It's the best. All right. You guys are laughing at me for calling it Kingfisher's haunted eyeball. But then in this section, he says, I'm haunted constantly. I see things. And I wrote, haunted eyeball. What did I say?
I responded to this with just Bill right now on a picture of Homer Simpson drooling like, oh, haunted eyeball.
Bill the horse?
No, Bill the eye eater.
I know.
The one guy. The connected
Why was I thinking
string.
about Bill?
They're one and the
Bill's
same
like,
to me.
I love
It's just
his
his
eyeball.
reincarnation.
Bill the eye eater. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my goodness.
R.I.P. What a guy.
Best character ever.
Okay, so I had been trying to figure out with Kingfisher, because everywhere he was, like in his room or in his tent, he had all these books out everywhere. And I kept being like, he's secretly helping Sis. He's reading all about the alchemist stuff and all about the forge. And he's just going to come into the room and be like, here's all your answers. But nope. He was sitting in there studying the mating bond and trying to figure out how to basically like undo it or choose to not accept it and just kind of like be a jerk about it. So I'm less excited about the books. I thought he was trying to be helpful, but he was not. So darn.
You would think that he would like look in his mom's journal or dad's whatever if that were true too. If his dad had like researched. Well, I guess that was enthrallments, not bonds.
Maybe we have another case of the missing research. The missing dad
Maybe.
research.
Papa Kingfisher's
Papa
research.
Kingfisher's research. We'll get it in book 3.
Mark your calendars. I love it. On a very similar note, Saris, when she's asking Kingfisher like what he's been doing this whole time, or if what he's been doing this whole time was looking for a way out of the bond, and he says, I was looking for a way to save you. And I was like, but what if the bond is how Sarah saves you, you dum-dum? That's what my note says.
You dum-dum.
Because his mom told him, and she's
Listen to
clearly
your mom.
never wrong.
Always
Yeah,
listen to
you
your
should
mom.
always do that. Zoe and Daisy, if you're listening.
Emma and Faye, if you're listening.
She said that once he found Sarah, the fates would guide them. Like, you idiot, don't leave her and reject the stupid bond. I was real fired up about this.
Yep.
But then, to close out this chapter, Fisher's jaw worked. Cheers, mateys!
You actually wrote mateys.
I did.
Before we even had that conversation.
Yep.
That's so amazing. Minnie's trying to lick the bottom of your drink. She's trying to have her cheers moment.
She's being, she's Minnie. I should get her a little bowl.
Oh, that'd be cute. Chapter 36, Isha Ball. At the end of the last chapter, Sarah storms out and she ends up sleeping on the couch outside of Carrion's room, and she wakes up and Kingfisher is there. And this whole scene is completely silent. Like, nobody talks. And this interaction that Kingfisher and Sarah have at night, it's just one of the most intimate moments that they've had, where like she walks by and Kingfisher grabs her hand, and then they end up just kind of holding each other for a minute, and he's just like, no, I'm good. And then she finally leaves. Like, that whole little moment was just so precious between them. And it was just such good writing, because I was like totally invested in the whole thing, but nobody said a word. Like, it was just, it's so good.
Aww.
And I just love that for them, and that they're both like finally accepting it. It also felt like, with so much fighting between them, like banter and whatever, and then obviously like they've come, like literally have come together, like had sex and whatever else, but like this is the first time that it felt like they were actually like relationship-y. Like, and having that, those types of feelings or conversations or interactions. I just really liked that moment. It was
Totally agree. I'm super on board with this too. It was nice.
So sweet. Like leaning on each other.
I know.
Hold on. I think I have to burp.
You think? You're not sure?
You might need to throw up. Might need
It's
to
just
burp.
like when cute
Toss
things
up, you know?
happen, you just might have to.
Yeah. It just bubbles right up.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, it's a beautiful
Some
relationship.
people get
Hold on, I gotta barf.
butterflies.
I gotta barf.
Gag me with a
I just-
spoon.
All right, so Ren is freaking out here about needing to find the most powerful witch in existence. But this whole conversation, I was like, hello, why has no one talked about Kingfisher saying Saris is a witch? I know that happened while they were literally having sex, so no one else heard it. But Saris was like, she was like in shock that Fae existed. And then every time a new species is introduced, she like stops to really notice it. And it's very thoroughly described. And then here, I feel like this would have been her first time finding out about witches. And I just, right? But I feel like you would think back to the time that Kingfisher was like, you are a witch. And I just don't understand why we're not acknowledging that. But
I mean, other than him just saying it like, like you are stealing my heart, or you're putting a spell on me, like a romancy type thing, maybe.
But
I don't
in this
know.
realm, why wouldn't that be literal? That's all. So maybe he was just
He can't
caught
tell
up
a
in the
lie.
moment. Maybe.
You're just a random truth mid-session. You're a witch, by the way.
By the way, before we move on, just want to let you know.
You're a witch, Saris. Oh my gosh. Oh, I forgot I wrote this in my note. I said, was he being dramatic, or is Saris actually the Long Island iced tea of Evalia?
What?
She's just a little bit of everything. She's
Solid bar
fae.
knowledge.
She's vampire. she's a witch. She's human.
A little bit of Monica.
Did you steal that phrase
Anyway.
from the circle? The Long
Yeah, they
Island
did
iced
say
tea.
that on the circle.
Oh, I don't know.
They didn't use it as a phrase like that.
okay.
They were literally talking about a Long Island iced tea, but that's why it was on my mind. Anyway, so I don't know. The whole time I like thought that one of the witches was going to recognize her or something, because I was just convinced that was literal. But anyway, Kingfisher says that he won't let Carrion come find the witches with them because he'd just try to fuck one of them. And Carrion says with a sigh, no, he's right. I would, just to say that I'd done it. My first thought was the way that Carrion Swift would love Manon Blackbeak, but she would hate his guts. But then later when Dania bares her teeth at Carrion, her canines elongating, earning her an intrigued grin from Carrion. And I just love that he's a vampire girly too.
Not
That
for
was cracking me
Danby,
up.
but yes.
No.
And then Laura throws out there, that female is feral. Next time she tries to hit me, I'm going to put her over my knee and spank her. And not in the fun way. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's the weirdest thing to say,
I know.
let alone in that specific moment. That was
I
so
went
funny.
back there and had to listen to it again because I was like, what did he just say? And then I highlighted it and I wrote, what an odd thing to say.
I just wrote WTF.
I can't decide if this is just like weird foreshadowing for them falling in love or
I hope not. I like Lorith a lot.
I know, me too. That was just weird. It was a weird thing to say.
Super weird thing to say. Then we meet Ishabal, and I was so surprised that Kyle didn't have a note about her because she is specifically his type, with the fiery red and wavy hair, natural red, with eyes a vivid bright blue, freckles dominated her face, even scattered across her forehead. That right there is a description of Kyle's dream woman. And so I was really surprised
Whoa.
that there
I like
wasn't a
green
note
eyes.
there. Oh, okay. So sorry. So sorry. Natural red with the freckles everywhere. Green
Yeah.
eyes, apparently.
Little wave.
That's Kyle's woman.
Wavy hair, yeah.
Then, like, later her hair's half up, half down. I was so surprised I didn't hear that from you at all.
Yeah.
John didn't have a note about that either. About the
What?
half up hair.
Gentlemen,
I know.
I thought of it just for you guys.
That's what me too.
Went into my private notes.
Oh my gosh. I've even asked him if he wants me to, like, dye my hair.
Yeah.
And he's
That's it.
said,
Goes in my red hair diary. I have a separate book that I track all the redheads.
is Carrion in there?
He's in mine.
No. But I've even asked Kyle if he wanted me to dye my hair red, like early in our relationship. And he said, no, it can't be fake red. It has to be real, like a natural red hair.
Wow.
I was like,
Must be why Kyle and I weren't friends in college.
you were blonde. You were
Oh, that's
blonde
true,
in
I was
college.
There is just like a certain red that is unfakeable. You know what I mean? Like it's,
I do.
yeah.
I've tried to attain it. I can't.
For years. It's funny.
I do. And isn't that like the rarest combination of hair and eye color too? Like the red hair with green eyes?
I believe so. I mean,
Feels like a
don't get me
random
wrong.
bit of
Blue's
trivia
great.
you would know.
Brown's great. I'm not like big. I'm not an eye person. I don't really care what color people's eyes are. That's not an affectation. Freckles, sure. Red hair, sure.
I have those.
I honestly, I do somewhat blame the fact that my family took me to Ireland when I was 8. And like all these redheaded people, I was like, this is a beautiful place. This is a beautiful island. And I've missed it ever since. And I wish I had
Ruined
more
you
of that
for
here.
all others.
Yeah.
At 8 years old.
Yeah.
Google says it is red hair with blue eyes. That is the
Blue
rarest.
eyes. Okay, so Ishabal then.
Yeah, she's super rare.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Oh my gosh. But speaking of Ishabal, we get a pronunciation guide in the book. And I
know,
was
that
really
was the
surprised
best.
Con didn't have a note of this one. I just thought I was like, oh, thank you. Because it's not spelled Ishabal. Like, it does not look like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But
I
it is in
appreciated
the
her
actual-
pronunciation being
Yeah.
like spelled out for me. That was
It is
I
like
think it's in the
s-
actual pronunciation guide at the front too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the audiobook, having it like read out was pretty funny, like as an actual pronunciation guide from him. I was like, oh, okay.
Ishabal.
I'm pretty sure it's the Gaelic or Scottish or Gaelic version of Isabel.
Oh,
It
that
makes sense if it's one of those because she also has a sexy hot accent. So it would make sense.
So she's
Sexy
just
would.
everyone's
Not
girl
sexy,
crush,
not
I guess,
hot.
for this book.
Sexy hot.
Yeah. Double.
Going off of that, my last comment for this chapter is a hot Scottish redhead with the accent to boot. Yes, please. Thank you for the accent, Stella Bloom.
Yes. Both of their, all of
Perfect.
their
Great.
voices, all of their
So
accents.
good.
So
Yeah.
good.
10 out of 10.
So good. Okay, that takes us to chapter 37 called Much Sharper. Oh my God, guys, I am not ready to fangirl. I need to hype myself up for the things that happen in this chapter. So finally, Kingfisher says, if it were up to me, we wouldn't spend another night without each other again. And Sarah says, I want that too. They finally admit it to each other. There's no more denying it. There's no more questioning, maybe. I don't know. We still haven't seen Sarah accept the mating bond, but they are at least accepting that they want to be together, if only for tonight. And it is amazing. And I'm so here for it.
As I was reading through this scene, my first thought was like, my God, this is going to be a long-ass Emojirotica that I'll have to go through. Long.
Tell me when to stop.
Long.
Honestly, when I was reading it, though, I did sit there and think, like, gosh, I wonder how long it takes Jon to actually analyze this and to sit there and think through each emoji. How in depth do you read some of these scenes?
Yeah, so like,
Question mark.
How many times do you reread the scene?
I mean, because I know about for me,
Well,
and I'm doing emoji.
my reply to this was it took me probably 45 minutes to do this one, like at least.
I mean,
But
at
yeah,
least. You gotta be at least 45.
minimum.
Yeah, yeah, minimum. But yeah, there's a lot of rereading because it's like, I don't know, I'll go back through and be like, do I want to? There are like obviously there are specific like words or phrases that I'm like, oh, that's gonna be fun. I gotta put that in there, and then mix that up with some of the like normal stuff, if you want to put it that way.
The same thing happens every time, just a different spin on it.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, although when Jon sent me the emojis for this week, because he always sends them to me in a text, and then I'll make it searchable, like I'll put like Quicksilver episode 4 or whatever we're doing. Oh, this wasn't this one. This was I think it was the last week, because I looked up your one from a previous episode today while I was editing. But you were like, man, I really had to narrow this one down.
Oh yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah.
That was the first one. I was like, oh God, this is... I think I was just getting like way too specific. Like I was putting like so many emojis in there. I was like, I gotta chill out. This is gonna literally be like 100 emojis in here.
You don't want to like come on too strong and scare anybody away.
Sure,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point.
Also, I have to put in all of the emojis, and one time he did like 73, and it took forever.
Oh
Did
my
I really?
gosh.
73? Wow.
I had we don't have to keep this part in, but I had an idea when you were reading the Emojirotica for this section. I think it'd be nice to have, like, if we could just hire someone to do like a 5-second vocal clip and then transition into it where it's like Emojirotica and like it just comes up on the screen.
It's the intro.
And then every once in a while, like if you have like, I don't know, like you said the plane emoji. If there's just like a plane sound effect for no reason, or like the eggplant would just be like, oh yeah.
But you always go like, that takes us to this week's section of Emojirotica, and then be like,
Emojirotica, and like little.
I'm here for that. That's it.
I bet we could make that happen.
Yeah,
I
like a
feel
70s
we could do
style
that with AI. I don't know that we.
70s style, a little heart, like airplane, something.
I'm dead.
Okay.
We'll
I'm
look
here for
into
that.
this.
Yeah.
Good job, Kyle.
Amazing.
Okay, so I know that I've talked about my love for Twilight a lot, specifically in this series because of, I know, right? Because of vampires. This is like 14-year-old Lauren reading about vampire romance in my bedroom and just, I don't know, my whole high school experience and all the things. So it is very deep-rooted love, no matter how ridiculously cheesy or how many red flags or all the things you see as watching it back as an adult. I'm totally aware. I am who I am, and I can't shake it. And so when I freaking read the line, "Your scent drives me crazy," Fisher rumbled. "You're like a effing drug. You light me up." Oh my God. I freaked out. I'm like laying in my bed reading, and I like jumped up out of my bed. He said it. He said he Edward Cullened her.
Oh my God.
He just did it.
Hyperventilating over here.
I'm so dying. Oh, he said the line. And so then, like, I'm still freaking out. I'm literally shaking. And I text Connor and I said, I don't know if you have a note about this yet, but I get the one about he's like a drug. Because he Edward Cullened her, and that's my line. She's like, it is all yours, girl. Like,
She's like looking at the Twilight series on her shelf. He's back.
He's back. And then in the same text message, or like same conversation, I said, I think Kingfisher's my #1 book boyfriend. I don't know why.
I just pulled up the text because this is what it actually says. I've never needed, this is completely out of the blue, unprompted, yesterday at 9:30 p.m. I've never needed a note more than Fisher saying her scent is like a drug. I haven't been in the notes yet, but please let me have that one. He freaking Edward Cullened her. I am dying right now.
I'm literally shaking texting you that. Freaking the F
My
out.
goodness.
And I've never read Twilight, so I was just cracking up.
I'm so excited about it. And then I put a gif of Edward in a tree saying, it's like a drug to me. my own personal brand of heroin. Stop,
Proceeds
Edward.
to quote the entire movie.
Stop, Kingfisher. It's fine. My cheeks hurt. I'm smiling so much. The real ones out there will get it, and they'll be right there with me.
Yes.
It's fine.
I wasn't so much freaking out about that particular line because that had no grand significance for me personally. But I was just cracking up through like this whole sequence. I had to highlight this one line because Kingfisher says, I'm about to introduce you to all 7 gods. When you meet them, don't forget to tell them I'm the one you worship on your knees. And he's like being all intense. And I just put me giggling.
It was... Yep. I don't have words.
Yeah.
And then Sarah's POV, it says, my pulse kicked up, working double time when I saw the thin trickle of blood trailing down his chin. My blood. And I highlighted and I wrote, I'm starting to be worried for myself because of how much this excites me.
You're sitting here reading this and you're like, oh no.
Oh no.
This is turning into a direction.
Maybe you should start reading more dark romance, Lauren.
If they're vampires, okay. I think if it was an actual like serial killer murderer, I think I'd be freaked out. But
Yeah. Sometimes there's just a general blood kink. I feel like in dark romance, there's always one of those, and I
Yeah,
still don't
that's
understand
true.
why, but maybe it's because there are vampire girlies writing it. I don't know.
it's true. Or they know all us Twilight girlies are the ones reading it.
Okay. All right. We have to talk about Fisher's new Bond tattoo. I was freaking out about this too. It says the outstretched wings of a majestic bird, flashing metallic blue and green, fanned around either side of his neck, unique and stunning. So this was another part where I was like, I want to know if like these tattoos / his bond with Sarah's will help him, because she also has like a metallic tattoo. And I'm wondering if that has to do with her alchemist thing, or if this is just specific to their super deep god binding bond. I don't know, but it seemed like the god bindings were separate from whatever this like metallic tattoo is. So I'm super intrigued by that. Very excited. We are getting a little more tattoo stuff in this section.
Well, especially because I didn't expect him to get tattoos.
Yeah.
Or at least like tattoos there. Maybe on his hands or something too. Because we learned from Taylena that that's where she got hers, and that's where they do it because of the old traditions.
True, yeah.
But I guess she didn't really talk about whatever her mate's tattoos were or where they were.
Oh,
So,
yeah. That's a good point.
I was kind of surprised by that. But I'm sitting here like looking at the book, and he has tattoos on his hands. But I can't remember if that's just his normal shadow tattoos or if that's supposed to be these tattoos. But you can't see his neck.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just sitting over here staring to the side.
I have it right here. I was looking at it too.
But I am really excited that he accepted the bond.
Yeah.
Like, I knew he was going to do it, but, like,
Yeah.
it's such a quick turnaround from saying he worked so hard to not. And then he's just like, whatever. I guess I will.
Yeah, just kidding. I love you.
And then he just, like, casually puts in there, like, when the Fae are little, our parents teach us the art of distraction so we can protect the things we don't want to confess. Will you forget that you asked me the question if I find the energy to make you scream my name again or whatever? And I was like, oh, no, I've caught on to this, Kingfisher. Like, you're constantly, like, changing the subject or, stopping what you're saying and saying something else. Like, you can't trick me. I'm onto that. Nice try.
Yeah. And then I think in response to Saris biting him, he says, careful, OSHA, he chided. My teeth are much sharper than yours. I just thought that has to be an OSHA violation, right? I'm going to get the guys in here to take a look at this one. I'll be right.
Oh, they're coming back. I love these.
Isn't it so weird how Jon and Kyle are never here when those OSHA guys get here?
I know, it's so strange.
So
It's like we
interesting.
never have guests, and the one time we do, they just are like nowhere to be found.
I know.
All right. Oh, wait. No, my partner's not here yet. There he is. There we go. Clocking in here.
Oh, your
so,
partner. That's cute.
Oh, that's
I mean, I think it's wait a minute. Hey, whoa. You can't call us in on these kind of calls, man. We don't into this kind of scene. I don't need to see what they're doing in their free time.
Yikes.
Hey, guys, I can't.
Jeez.
Okay. Come on now. I mean,
Hold on a second.
hey, how do you... Come on a second, man. See, he's doing something. I gotta...
taking some notes. Kyle's measuring.
That's not good. I'm gonna need this one. There we go.
Oh.
Okay. Interesting.
Lots of note taking happening
Yeah, I
over here.
can't.
It was a long scene.
Well,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Oh, Jon, I think, is drying.
Oh my. Is this a
I mean, it's
diagram?
a kind of violation. I don't think it's our purview, but I'm just gonna take off. Actually,
We got we got enough.
Wow. Whoever is married to those OSHA guys are lucky tonight. They took a lot of notes over chapter
They sure
37.
did. Yeah. Taking lots of notes from Kingfisher.
Hopefully, they weren't too rough on him this time. I know those guys are pretty strict.
Just rough enough.
A lot of visual gags there. You'll need to tune into the
Yeah.
video for that one.
We tried to narrate.
Yeah.
I'll have to post the clip of this one. Oh my gosh. Okay, this little paragraph made me swoon and then laugh so hard. It just like all of it caught me off guard and I loved it all so much. So Kingfisher says, I'll be grateful for every second that I can say that I belong to you, Sarah Swain. 80 years or 18 hours, it doesn't matter to me. It'll still be the highest honor of my life. But are you about to have a heart attack? Your pulse is flying. Don't freak out. Here, look. Oh my gosh, I die.
I think I was just like such heightened emotions from this whole chapter, from like all my freakouts and everything. So, especially reading this beginning of this part, I started tearing up. I think if he would like kept it going with like
Yeah.
the super cute romancy stuff, I would have full on been crying. But then it turned funny, like because she was freaking out. So I did not cry, but I started tearing up, and it was super cute.
It's a close one.
Just so happy for them.
Yeah, that means stuff's about to get real bad. And I'm
I
so
know.
nervous. Dang it. But they're in love, and they
Yes.
finally said it. Or he finally said it. Did she say it?
I don't think she has.
I don't think she said it, but he said it. I'm so excited. Okay, but then chapter 38, Martyrs for Friends. My first note is Saris reading Fisher's note, and I wrote, ugh, boo, Kingfisher, you big romantic self-sacrificing dummy. It got to, especially when it got to the part where he's like, tell Renfus I'm sorry, and I was like, ugh, Kingfisher.
Tell Lorith to live his life. Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
just the worst. So mad about that. But then Saris finds Carrion in Fisher's room because she's like bursting in there looking for him. And Carrion says, I came looking for Onyx. I couldn't find him anywhere, so I guessed he was sleeping in here. Crazy bedroom. And he just moves on. And now I want to know, did Onyx follow Kingfisher? Like, we just skipped over the fact that he didn't know where Onyx was. And it hasn't been mentioned since.
I guess I didn't think too much of it.
Yeah, I didn't think
Like-
of it until I saw your note. But I did also wonder why he was looking for Onyx. Are Carrion and Onyx friends now? Did I miss that relationship forming? Like, why is he just wandering around looking for him?
Well, first of all, why wouldn't they be friends? Who wouldn't love Onyx? He's the best boy in the realm, first of all. I don't know. Maybe Kingfisher like sent Carrion to go looking for Onyx or something, just so that he would be there whenever Saris like woke up. I don't know. But he was looking for Onyx, and then Onyx was not mentioned again at all in this chapter section. So I don't know if
And
he
probably
just
won't
was
be in the
sneaky.
next bit because she went through the portal. Or like the
But unless
Shadow
Onyx
Gate.
did follow Kingfisher through the Shadow Gate or whatever, and he's there. But I hope he's not in danger.
Think animals can go through those without a relic? Are they immune to that?
She doesn't have a
Well,
relic.
the Shadow Gate you don't need
Oh,
a
Shadow
relic
Gate. Yeah,
for.
yeah. I'm not thinking
Yeah.
the other ones. Too many
He's just
gates.
going to be like super like loopy and throw up a couple times if he goes through it the first time.
Poor guy.
But he
So,
had to
I
have
don't
gone through
know-
it the last time because
Oh,
like, the
yeah,
very
he has
first
gone through
one.
it before.
Yeah.
Easy. Calm down, Lauren.
Where the f- is Onyx?
Anyway, also, Carrion found Fisher's mom's book that she left, and we're not reading it. Like, Saris was like, oh, let me guess. It's about blah, blah, blah. And he's like, how did you know? And then they just move on. I know she's panicked looking for him right now in this moment, but I was like, it's right here. The book is here. I didn't think we'd actually get to see it. So I hope we do actually get to see it.
Well, and how many times has Saris been in Kingfisher's bedroom? Did Kingfisher like pull it out and have it on the side table?
Oh, he pulled it
Because
out.
he was- you know what I'm saying.
I don't know if he put it on the side table, but
Oh my gosh. Well, she was stuck in there reading books for 5 days, but
Yeah, but she couldn't
Kaylana
get
was the
up
one
during
bringing
that
them
moment.
to her. Yeah.
Yeah. But she's been in his room for other times or whatever, so.
Yeah. I don't know. But I guess we're moving on because everybody else just moved on from this part. We don't get to read it yet. So Carrion, brilliant little weirdo that he is, asks if they can use the Shadow Gate to get to Kingfisher. And Ren's like so relieved and excited. He's like, I could kiss you, Carrion Swift. And then it says, Carrion seemed taken aback by this and then somewhat interested. After thinking about it for a second, he said, I wouldn't be opposed, but maybe later. Which is just, again, just these brilliant little writing moments of like, I just love him so much. But my note here was, I would read this fanfic.
I think I would too.
Oh, he's just the best. But I was dying at the Quicksilver just demanding more jokes. Literally every moment with him is my favorite.
This is kind of like we talked about earlier. Hopefully that it's sharing them and not taking them, or we're about to have a very unfunny carrying a hilarious sword.
It is just the perfect sword for him, though, or the perfect thing for the Quicksilver to demand for
it is.
Carrion. Like, it's just great. And then he goes and names it Simon. Looks like a Simon. Like, what? I actually laughed so hard at this. Like, literally laughed out loud. It's absolutely ridiculous. In the
I guess
most Carrion way.
He wouldn't know like an old Fae name or anything to give it, right? But it is so funny.
I don't know. He has that book.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, from his
I don't
grandma.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just
Simon.
hilarious.
Okay, this is my note about Ishabel because she walks in and it says her thick red hair flowed down her back. The top section clasped back in a clip, and I wrote, "Ooh, John!"
Yeah, totally missed it.
Can't believe that.
Really did.
Although today, what were you gonna say?
It's her accent for me.
Yeah, it was nice.
Her hair is
fair.
great, but her accent.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. John was shocked that he missed this, though, about her hair being half up. And then today, before we were about to record, I was like, I had my hair in braids last night, and so it was really wavy this morning, but the heat here is ridiculous, and it just, like, made my hair, like, flat and frizzy and kind of a mess. And so I was like, what am I supposed to do with my hair? It looks ridiculous. And John was like, I don't know, put it half up. And I was like, it is half up.
John.
Oh, okay.
And
It
your
doesn't
defense,
look like
John,
it, though,
she
does it?
does have a lot of
I
hair.
wouldn't have said, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would have never
Well,
known.
I
Oh,
mean, you
yep,
were
it is.
in the room with me.
Still, it doesn't look like it's half up. I'm
He was
just
in the
saying.
room where it happened.
You have like a low ponytail or whatever back there.
It's in a clip, but
Yeah, but
I
it's still
guess
half of
kinda
it is
low.
back there.
Anyway. Guys, we're almost there. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Everlane's frantic cry, this says in Saris's POV, pierced through me as the fighters below me thrust me up into the Shadow Gate. And Everlane says, Saris, wait, the water. And my note is, WTF does that mean?
Yeah.
I like put a little bit of this into thoughts and theories, but like I really have no idea. Lauren, do you have any like upfront thoughts about this?
Other than, for whatever reason, the Shadow Gate being at the bottom of the Darn, or like a river or a lake or something.
And that's why
wherever
she
they're
like fell through
located.
it.
Yeah. And now she's like falling, but maybe she's just disoriented underwater.
Oh,
I don't know.
that's
don't know.
interesting. I didn't think about that.
I don't know what else it would mean about the water. That don't drink the water when you get there. Like, I don't know.
Well, but it did say, like, you highlighted that part where it said she looked like she was floating, like her hair was underwater, but she was dry.
That's true.
But maybe it was an illusion. Maybe she was in water of some kind, and it was, and Malcolm was like casting an illusion of her on the banks or something. Because didn't it also say none of the vampires were touching her?
Yeah, none of them had touched her.
Yeah.
So that's true. It could be. I don't know. The thing that weirded
interesting.
me out more in this section was that Carrion went first. Like, I
Yeah.
get that maybe Renvis and Lorith could, like, jump up there easier or something. But when the Shadow Gate is only open for that little bit of time, my theory here is that Carrion and Saris are going to get through, and then it's going to get cut off. And it's
Yeah.
going to be the two little humans there with all the vampires. I don't know what's going to happen.
That's what I thought too.
So
Although for some reason I thought they were the only two that were going through the gate, but I guess it would make sense for Renfus and Lorth to come. I don't know why they would just send them.
Yeah, I don't know why they would just send them of all the people when they were trying to argue that they don't get to go the first time.
I guess I was just thinking like, oh, well, somebody has to stay back with Everlane.
Yeah, but I thought that was going to be Danya.
Talena was there.
Talena and Ishabal.
Yeah.
Like the ladies are staying back.
Yeah, I think in my head it was just canon that like she was going to make it through and that was it.
Yeah. Oh, I still think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I will say this, if Renfus goes through, then I think everyone will survive. If Lorith goes through, I think Lorith is going to die.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Carrion. I really don't think it's going to be Renfus, and if it is, I'd be really upset. I obviously really like Lorith, but of all the options, I unfortunately think it would be him. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I feel like somebody has to die, right? Something crazy is going to happen.
Or we're going to think that it's like Kingfisher or something because something tragic is supposed to happen, quote, quote, quote. I don't know.
Well, but if something tragic did happen to Kingfisher or Ceres, I don't think it would be in this book. I still think there's a possibility they could be separated at the end of this book, but I don't think one of them would.
They're going to be separated. That was funny. You're
Party time.
I think if they get separated, the whole beginning of the second book will just be her being like, why didn't I say I loved him? Why didn't I accept the bond when I had the chance? You know, that whole trope that I hate but is totally a classic trope in any book ever. And then they'll get together and she'll finally say she loves him or whatever. But
because she has a few more weeks, he said, to accept the bond.
She could still even accept the bond, and then she's just going to be this, like, somehow in charge because she's lady of the house, and everybody's weirdly following her, even though she's human, to go save Kingfisher. Kind of a moment.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of nervous, but I'm, like, really excited to finish the book, which we'll get to do very soon because the last line of this chapter section is suddenly I was falling, and I highlighted this and wrote in all caps, rude of you to cut me off right before a chapter called Anorath freaking More. I'm so mad about that.
I was like pausing the audiobook as it was like chapter 40, Anorath More. And I was like, or chapter 39, Anorath More. And I was like, are you kidding me? What the heck? But I did like the way that the falling was written because it's like vertical. And then the audiobook narrator falling. And I was listening at like 1.75 speed. And I felt like it was really slow of her saying that.
Yeah.
So I imagine at 1x speed, that's very great voice acting to take that long. But I'm so excited to finish this recording so I can immediately start reading.
Yes. That's it for this chapter section. Just one more from 39 to the end. Current character thoughts. Let's hear them.
I love him, except for Dan B. That's all I wrote.
All right. And
Nothing else has really
that's
changed.
on Con's characters.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Got it. Lauren?
So I just freaking love Kingfisher so much. And he accepts their bond. And he's just even more amazing. And I just love him. And I really think he's like really, really up there on my book boyfriend list. And the only reason I'm saying he's number one right now is because I feel like other book like boyfriends or whatever have so many books out there. And it took me however long before they reached to the top. And Kingfisher, he's feeling up at the top. Even I haven't even finished the book. I freaking love him so much.
Yeah.
I want to see more with Ren and Lorith because we get these like little bits of introduction to them as Ceres kind of gets to know who they are. And now they're just like part of the gang or she's part of theirs or whatever. But I want to know more about them or see more character development or romance for them or like whatever it needs to be with them more in the book. But it's the end of this book, so it might not happen like in book one, and is what it is. I could see Kingfisher not coming back. We kind of just talked about that, and then we would get a lot more with like maybe Ren or Lorith because they're the new like male characters in the book. Since Kingfisher's kind of off wherever he's potentially going to be. I don't want that to be the case, but it could. I am still skeptical of Everlane until I have 100% confirmation of whatever the heck is going on with her. I am ready for Ceres to accept the bond completely, but I just talked about this too. I'm really worried she's not going to say it, and then the whole book two will just be her upset that she didn't say it, and that whole inner dialogue and turmoil and whatever. But I just want them to be happy and together forever. So.
All right. Are there any further thoughts and theories on what's to come?
There's just a lot of stuff floating around in my head, but I really have no idea like where the end of this book is going because there's really not that much left. But things are about to get so crazy. John's freaking out.
I'm so excited. Oh my God.
Which your excitement makes me excited and also a little scared.
It makes me extremely scared.
Love it. Love it.
Wow. We haven't had a
getting
kick
high
like that since you read about Reese-Anne for the first time. Wow.
Oh, it's a big day. Yeah, I don't know. So I thought one of the witches might recognize Saris or something because I still think that she's a witch. I have no idea what the heck the water means, but I feel like that makes so much more sense that maybe the Shadow Gate was like underwater and that's why Everlane fell from the ceiling. So that's interesting. Finron is totally coming back. I feel like that's going to happen. I do think the Quicksilver just has to be activated in the last chapter section of this book because that was like such a big deal at the beginning of it. So maybe there is actually a pool of it at Amontriath or someone else activates it. I was trying to figure out the water thing and I was like, maybe Malcolm enthralls Saris by drugging her with water or something and then forces her to activate the Quicksilver. I don't know. Maybe the gods are coming back or waking up or whatever they're doing. I do think Fisher might have to die at some point and come back in order to be healed or like fulfill this god binding situation. I feel like as we were talking, I had a couple more things that were kind of floating around in my head. And I'm trying to just think of them real quick before we actually finish the book. There was something just now when you were talking. Oh, the thing that I was thinking of as you were saying that about Kingfisher not coming back is that I could see maybe Saris getting stuck in Amontriath and that's how she learns about what happened to Kingfisher while he was gone. I could see maybe that. If they were to get separated that way or like all of them got stuck there or something like that, I could maybe see that being how she pieces together some of that information since Kingfisher can't literally tell her that she would learn it from someone else or from being stuck there. So, but mostly above all else, I just want to know where my baby boy Onyx is and if he's okay. That's my biggest concern.
I'm so worried we won't find out since Sarah's just left.
Me too.
Sorry.
Don't say things like that, Lauren.
I'm so sorry.
Laura, no.
I also think we will find out about the bond, but it's when Malcolm monologues, like does an evil monologue.
The villain monologue, classic. Yeah,
That's my guess.
He would.
Speaking of what you think, Lauren, what are your thoughts and theories?
I know last week or the week before I talked about how I think we're going to end up back in Zilvarin or something like that, but I don't imagine that happening with how short of the book we have left. So maybe it's sometime in the series, because I know the series will be multiple books, but I think it's 5 books, something like that. But where we'll end up there eventually, in Madra and that whole situation. I was convinced we'd end up back there and that she was some sort of the main bad guy, and maybe she will be there. Like maybe we'll show up and she's somehow with Malcolm. Like I have no idea, but I don't think specifically we'll be at Zilvarin just because of all of that. I also think Belicon is behind this Everlane stuff. And like I said, maybe even the Kingfisher stuff regarding like Malcolm, like if he's sending them there in some sort of trade situation or I don't know. Something's going on with Belicon being evil. And then I hope we find out about Kingfisher's secret thing he won't share or can't share. And I think we'll get it from Malcolm's evil monologue. And then absolutely no one is allowed to die. That's it.
Okay.
Your little smile after you said that.
Well, that's the
We're
thoughts and the theories.
manifesting.
Yes, we are. Speaking of manifesting no tears, that takes us to the cry counter. I did tear up, but I did not cry. So I believe everyone is still at 0.
Teared up but didn't tear down.
Exactly.
Well, that's all for this week, friends. Next week, we end it all. Because we'll be reading to the end of the book and seeing where Callie Hart leaves us while we wait for Brimstone. We'll all literally be on the same page, so be there with us as we wrap up this book. Speaking of which, trigger warning for the next session for Lauren and all like her. You must prepare for spider-like activities and lots of teeth, and not the sexy vampire teeth either. But remember to rate this episode and leave a review so we can get more readers to join us for this and future reads. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok as well for more exciting, that's fun and exciting, book content, updated podcast schedules.
Interesting combination.
No, I wrote it and then I saw it and then I kept it because
Yeah, for sure.
That's good.
That was the right call.
I'll start from the parentheses. That's fun and exciting. Book content, updated podcast schedules, merch drops, and lots more. And if you'd like to chat about this episode with us, check out the dedicated podcast episode channels in our Discord, which is available through Patreon.
Yes, on top of all that, be sure to visit Between Pages and Friends to join our Patreon so you can dive into all of our spoiler and non-spoiler chats, of course, on Discord, take part in our monthly book club, get access and discounts on all of our incredible merch, and see what the four of us are up to when it comes to books, games, and more. Until then, stay wordy, stay nerdy, don't stress, and stay blessed.
I was so excited about this book, and now I don't like it anymore.
Don't worry, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
She's told me, like, if I read about spiders again, I'm closing the book. And I was like, ooh.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well,
Yay!
time to go read. Bye, guys.